are beginning Tov Kuf Lamed Tes. Okay, last week we spoke about this, the Nisayan of doing business on Chol Hamoed. That was basically what we discussed as far as this halacha is concerned. And the Isser of Schayra is an Isser. The Mishnah Berurah says Mishum Toirach. And if you look in the Sharet Tzion says that this is what the Rabbi Avrohom says, and the other Achroinim. In the Rishonim, there's another view which I would like to mention because it's brought in the Biur Halacha later on, it's brought in other places, and that is when you do business, there's a Gzeira Shema Yichtov. That obviously is not talking about the 23rd century, where we won't write at all. We won't even know what that is, right? But the question over here is, and we're going to see that this is going to be a recurring thing. If the problem is Tairach, now I'm asking you a massive question. When I say a massive question, the implication of the question is a massive question. The question is not such an exciting question. Would you say that there's an Isser of Amir La'akum to have a guy do for you something that's only Asr Mishum Tairach? Do you understand the question?
Yeah. It's an Isser like any other Isser in Chol Hamoed.
Yeah, but no, at Toirach, we don't want you to use the word burn calories. We don't want you to be consumed. We don't want, right? But if you're having your Goyish employee doing it, where's your Toirach? No, Toirach isn't a malacha. If you have a guy do a malacha for you on Shabbos, I just share with you something. I like to scream about this whenever I can. When a person has a guy do malach from Shabbos, according to the Chassam Sofer and others, it's you say shlichos l'chumra, and it's like you did a malacha. You know, it's your machal Shabbos. Okay? I'm finished screaming. Take out your earplugs now. But he's not the only one who says that concept. And the question is, if the whole reason why it's usher is because we want you to be, as we learned last week, b'menucha. What do I care if the guy is running my business? Bishlam, there's some kind of an isser, even an isser d'Rabbanan of doing business. But here there's no isser in that which is being done, not even isser d'Rabbanan in that which is being done. Just an isser d'Rabbanan of Tairach. And you would have assumed that the isser of Tairach is a very personal thing, that you should not be matriach. But if somebody else be matriach for you, why should it be usher? So we'll leave this question hanging, and I'll just answer an answer which I believe is part of the answer. There was somebody in this shul, he's not alive anymore, not alive for many years. He asked me one year, what's a businessman? Meaning to say, that's not what he did for a living, that's what he was. He was a businessman. And he says to me, Rabbi, I don't get it. It was Shemita time, and they're collecting money for Keren HaShviyos to give farmers money so that they shouldn't have to work. He says, I get that. I don't have a problem with that. But they call them Giboire Koyach Oisei Dvaroi. Sit back on your lounge chair and collect unemployment. What's the Giboire Koyach? What's the Gevura about that? You like the question? I knew that. I knew that was coming. Why don't you like the question?
Because it's it doesn't have any basis. With a little bit of thought, you can realise that what they're giving up in no way compares with what they receive.
What do you mean? You mean in dollars and cents it doesn't work out?
No.
I mean, for example, look, I mean that they've got crops and things that they're looking after.
I want to tell you something. This is Israel. I don't know if you're aware. You see, we're talking English. You speak to an Israeli fellow that works and say, we'll give you 3/4 of your daily wage if you stay home. How long will it take you to convince him? You won't be able to finish the sentence. Right? Not an Englishman, a proper Englishman like you. We're talking about, what?
But farmers likely have all kinds of connections. Like, for example, I went once in previous Shemita.
So the question is money? Is that this question?
He's supplying Tanuva or something. You can't just
I
stop
accept it.
like that.
I just, that's not the question that he's asking. You're saying he's not being compensated enough. That's all. We're haggling about the price.
Not monetarily necessarily.
So I told him, I said, you? Tell me what I told the fellow. You of all people have this question? You're the last person. If you had $1 million in the bank, enough to live on for the rest of your life, $10 million, I'm not going to get involved in that issue, right? And someone says, I have a business deal for you that you could make money. You're not going to jump at the opportunity? Of course you're going to jump at the opportunity. A guy who works and he can make money working to not work, Zetzar. You have to be a gibor. The question is wrong. Maybe in today's society it's not a bad question, but there's something wrong with the society. But that's a different issue. But it's ba'etzem, it's a gvura. Okay. Anyways, so the I just want to mention, I do believe that some of the achronim say that there's a problem when you're going to have your guy doing work for you, even though there's no tircha. But you're not going to be able to sit by idly. It just doesn't happen. You have a business going and the guy is there. You're not going to be able to sit by and let him mess up without getting involved. But I don't think that's the right answer. That's true. No, I agree with the thought. I don't think that's the underlying idea, and we'll explore that later on. Anyways, afilo kolshehu. In other words, this is again, we're not measuring how much physical work you're doing. It doesn't make a difference. It's aser. Ben limkois, ben liknois, ben limkor. Afilo im hilve maus al menashe yitele achkach yain or schar acheres. I lent you money, and I said you should pay me back in merchandise at a cheaper price. So this is like business. No, it's you needed money now. I gave you money in advance, and you gave me money back later. I'm not right now getting involved in the ribbis issue. That will be discussed maybe later on. So that's not called hava. That's called business. Now this is a tricky word. You're not allowed to go and demand your payment. Why? Because when you demand the payment, you have take it in money. You've made money. You got back your loan plus some schayra that's worth more than your loan. That's called making money. So you're not allowed to do that, even though the original design of the deal was in the loan. Elim kain einu mitzuyim achar hamoed. You can't do this afterward. The havle davra ovid. You're not going to be able to, it's now or never. That's a different story. Miu, im nizdamelo rebach meruba b'moed, yachol limkor b'tzina. V'yoytze l'simchas Yom Tov, yoytze mimasha yadaito lehoitzi. This is a fascinating halacha, and I want to share with you a story that happened to me many years ago. This must be like 30 years ago. I was in New York on Chol Hamoed. And there was like a happening there, a show, a show for retailers to buy clothing. So it was just like an interesting. I said, "What? I'm like a nosy guy. Let's see what this is all about." And I walk into the place, and speaking to a few vendors there, and I was there with a few of my brothers-in-laws. And ask different stores. Just ask, how does this work? This is like an interesting thing. And the guy says, "Yeah, we sell shirts." I ask him like, what's the price for the retail? He says, "Yeah, but you have to buy like 10 shirts." So like 5 yeshiva guys, 10 shirts is not like a lot of shirts, right? So I asked him, "How many do you have to buy?" "You have to buy 25 shirts." So we made a cheshbon on the spot. We bought the shirts at half price, right? We weren't going shopping. It wasn't our idea altogether. But all of a sudden, we found the Mitzvah. What? Yeah, well, this is an ongoing thing. I tell my wife always: if toilet paper is on sale, you can buy as much as you can. So you don't use more because you have it. You understand? If you buy candy on sale, that's expensive. Toilet paper on sale. It does, So you buy shirts. You're gonna buy it. So that's talk.
Did it add to your Simchas Yom Tov?
If sure it did, but not because we didn't get the shirts either then.
Oh, so you didn't get them yet to wear?
No, you had to. This is it's a show. They didn't have schayra there.
Sometimes.
I was at the wrong show. Okay.
This was on Chol Hamoed.
So Chol Hamoed.
So it's not an inyan of Maurisayin. You see, we're going and looking at things.
I wasn't the rabbi at the time, and it wasn't the place that it was. I wasn't there. I don't think anybody would accuse me of. You wouldn't, if you saw me on the Intrepid on Chol Hamoed, you wouldn't think I was a sailor, right? It was obvious I wasn't there shopping. That wasn't what was going on.
So
anyway,
like morning Chol Hamoed, you're going ordering from Amazon here. You're not going to get it till
No. That's a difference. That's and there's a kesher. There's two different subjects talking about what was I doing going shopping, which is a good question. I wasn't going shopping. That wasn't what was happening. I was walking down the street, and the guy said, "Want to buy a watch?" Right? Okay. Now I wasn't going shopping, but that's an opportunity which will repeat itself. Okay. Well, actually, that's what happened. I bumped into an opportunity. Now, going shopping is going shopping. So I go shopping unless you need to. All right. Now, here in this Ramah is a fascinating thing. We learned at the end of the last simon that if a guy makes money on Chol Hamoed illicitly, so we're mafkir the money. Gemarnu, you can't have it. What about if you bumped into the situation where you can make a killing on Chol Hamoed? Look at the Ramah says. Mihu. In his damalo rebach maruba b'moyed, yochol limkor b'tzino. However, v'yetzi l'simchas Yom Tov yetzi b'mash hayatayte l'hotzi. You have to chip into the Yom Tov pot. That's a fascinating halacha.
That's even if you didn't get the profit yet.
I don't know. Let's speak to PayPal. I
Like
can't help you. I don't know.
like you
I don't know what is it. What's that? What?
You said like you didn't get the shirts yet, so you invested in it that you're going to make a lot of money, but did you get it yet?
I don't know which year's it taxed on. I don't know what said the question. I just said the question. You made money on Yom Tov, so a part of that money that you made should be used on Simchas Yom Tov. If you can do it retroactive, I don't know what's the difference when you made the money, right? In other words, if I bought merchandise cheap, if I happen to be, let's say, I'm out of town and I have a clothing store, and I happen to walk by this thing, and it was in New York City, so I made money. Why? Because I bought merchandise cheap.
Save.
Right? No, but that's called already. Right?
You would have spent more.
So that's called already made money, so to speak. That's what I would imagine.
Even though you're not going to actually open your store and sell it, but since the potential is there, you should spend more for it.
My father-in-law is a stockbroker by profession, and I was once with him together with one of the most shrewd Rosh Hashivas alive today, and the Shiva was trying to exchange pleasantries. So he asked my father-in-law, "Did your stops go up today?" So he said, "Yeah, I think I made some money." So he looks at him sternly, and he says, "If you didn't sell, you didn't make any money." Okay, you have to teach the broker about the business, right? If you didn't sell, you didn't make money, right? Your portfolio is worth more, but if you don't actualize it, right?
So you had to buy shchayra that he could sell.
Yeah, so all right, or whatever it is. But no, it doesn't have to be sold on Yom Tov. If you bought schar, then it could be that you made money, or you bought something cheap. Depends what it is that you. I need to buy my Lombardi, right? And I got it on half price. Okay, that's called that you saved money because so that which you gained. I don't think the gain has to be taking in. It means that your portfolio has been enhanced. Okay.
Could be wrong that a businessman cannot do something on Chol Hamoed to so that he if he did something he could make a bigger profit. And we said he cannot do that because
Right here, right. So that's
what's the difference here?
because this is you happened on. That's calculated. That's when you're running your business. Here, we was walking down the street.
If he wasn't running his business and he just had an opportunity to make a lot of money,
Right, and
and he just wanted to actualize it.
Right.
He wasn't planning on working.
Right, so that's a different story. That's
It
called,
wasn't the shita
you
one.
bumped into a Metzia.
Right.
That's what we're talking about, okay?
What's called a Rebach Meruba?
There's a lot of Paiskim who discuss that. I don't really know, can give you the shortest answer to that question, but I will share with you, what used to be, Moshe Halberstam said, for an Avrech, the price of a meal for Shabbos, more or less. He said that's called Hefzin Meruba. Okay? That's not called a Rebach Meruba. Now, a person who has a multi-million-dollar business, that the turnover his cash flow is $3 million a month, and he has a place where he can make $50,000. Well, it's not money, right? No, there's a percentage that, what's called Meruba. It's relative to a lot of factors. That's basically what the place can say. What Hefzin Meruba is. This is discussed. Fascinating question. I'll just share it with you because you like this kind of questions. There was two people that bought a cow b'shutfis. One was a cow. I'm an old guy. They bought a cow b'shutfis, okay, and it came yontif, let's say. So they decided to shech the cow for yontif, and there was a shaila that's only kosher b'hefzin meruba. For the poor person, it's hefzin meruba, and for the rich person, it's not. What's the halacha? Do we say to one, half the cow is kosher and half the cow is not? This is a discussed question in halacha, okay? And it's not a stira there. I'll just say that's not, okay? Anyways, I just thought you'd like that question, right? Q. Eger discusses it. All right, anyways, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Now, the Mishnah Berurah gets very technical over here. It doesn't have to be that you made it if you give it a moed, but if that's what's going to happen, you still can't do it. So the tircha is very minimal. Gam kein aser. Demasha mekabel schore mehem hu inyan mekach. Just the fact that you're getting something in exchange. So it's called Megach HaMemkar, therefore we don't care that the tircha is negligible. So why did it say Leilech? Mishum Sefer, the Meinu Mitzuyim Lo Yachar Kach, Mutter Leilech Acharei Afilu B'Acheres. If it's going to be that you're going to have a great loss or a lack of intake of money or something like that, so then you're even allowed to go out of your zone. Okay. They have said, the dafka, and this is your Gil. You weren't trying to be a trickster over here. Rebach Meruba vatam da'avta mishum rebach Meruba vad ein lahater elam came vaday ein motzi tamid lachar amoy kesifhei. But because selling is not really doing anything wrong. So since this isser is a weak isser, so therefore we're mekel over here. When it's going to be rebach meruba, you're allowed to be mekel. You have to use some of the money for Simchas Yom Tov. Okay, now I'd just like to share with you my understanding. What is this idea of being Moitzi Ksas L'Simchas Yom Tov? Well, who are we trying to impress? What are we trying to do? What do you think?
Shows that we have benefit from Yom Tov.
You're making it Yom Tov Dick?
Somehow.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's like it almost seems like a Ramahut, but it's not really a Ramahut because you're really spending it.
I don't think that's a Ramahut at all.
No,
I don't think that's the concept. I think the concept is much different. I have to share with you another halacha, which I think is like a parallel idea. The halacha is a person says, Moitzi Shem Shemayim Levatolo. So you say, Baruch Shem Kol Machus L'Leil Avoed. Like, I, every morning, say this Baruch Shem Kol Machus L'Leil Avoed, which is seeming like a ridiculous thing. Just don't say the bracha, right? I put my tefillin shel rosh on. I say al mitzvahs tefillin. Then I say, "Whoops!" You know, it's like a planned out avera and tshuva deal, right? So, he does again. So I tell him to sit down. Okay. anyways. So what's the answer to the question? The answer to the question is, I'm not going to why we do what we do. When a person is moitzi shem shamayim levatolo, be'etzem, he made a chilul Hashem. He was mevaze the Shem. So when a person wants to do tshuva for making a chilul Hashem, we make a kiddush Hashem. Okay? And that sort of balances it out. It's not tshuva as in correcting what you're doing, but it's making it a little bit more balanced, the situation. So when a person has a heter and he does something which is a chilul of Yontif, of Chol Hamoed, so we say, go out of your way to be mechabed the Yontif. It's not knas, and it's not harama.
It's not Jewish guilt.
What?
It's not Jewish guilt.
It's not Jewish guilt, yeah. Right. No, but the point over here is, that's what I think. What?
You're balancing...
yeah, but no, it's not that... I'm just saying, it's not, I don't think it's what parents say about that, it's a haram that I did it for Yontif. It's not I did it for Yontif. But by the fact that you're showing respect for Yontif, even in the business deal, that's like you're apologizing to the Yontif, so to speak. But it's
a Mishnah correct.
I have no idea what that means. That's the. I already sold the car. Right. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what you do. You talk about something and then you Shabbos correct. It's a heter for it.
No. I'm sorry, but I have to correct this. The list of Shabbos Geret was in people's mind. It's you say that, and now you're released to do things which are not Shabbosdik. Right? And that's what that joke is about. Nishna Shabbos Geret, so even though I just paid, now, no, here it's mutter because it's mutter. But even though it's mutter, we must appreciate that there was a slight to Shabbos. But this is not, excuse me, a confession booth. You cannot pay for your averis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, good for you. Okay?
It's not a knas?
What? No, I don't think so. No, it's a special halacha, and so they say miu kan, you should give a little bit more. No, this is a it's not a knas. Go to the rabbi to ask him, should I do it or not? He'll tell you you're allowed to do it, and you're allowed to do it lechatchila. Like I put on my tefillin and I say al mitzvahs tefillin and I say Baruch Shem. Did I do the wrong thing or the right thing? I did the right thing, but there's a tinge of something wrong to it that we try to justify. All right. Now just to reinforce this, because these are not malachas at all. It's either it's mutter or it's aser. But over here, this is in this. All right. Now let's look at this bir halacha, which is a little bit of an interesting bir halacha. Lelech letvayim. I am betaz. The mefarish kavaras shulchan aruch. Davka shetzorach lelech letvayim beira cheres. O shetzorach tichol lezel imohem bedina v'daina. You have to extract the money from the person either through litigation or through travel. If it's physically, the guy's your next door neighbor and says, you owe me money. He says, oh, here you go. Right? You owe me money. You owe me schar for the thing. Here, just take it right now. So there's extremely minimal amount of tircha involved. So there are those who say that it's mutter. Why? Because you can't really call that tircha. So what is the first day of hold? Business is business is business. And so we don't look at the individual situation. Even though there's no tircha involved, it's also.
Well, what about from the other end of it? The guy who owes it to you, is there any problem with him going and giving it to you?
Yeah. It's also business. All right. Let's go Sif Beis. Mi shehilva lechaveroi mois muter letvoya b'chol hamoed v'ligvos moisov ve'ein tzarich levar shemuter ligvos chayv v'nodi chayv v'mazolos from a guy for sure. Why is this so? Muter letvoya v'hainu afilu lelech liracheres v'letovim sham. We just said that tircha and going to another city is a problem, but here this is not business. Just getting back your money. So we don't have the combination, is the wrong combination, even though the amount of tircha is there. Why? That's not called business. You even know how to go to litigation if that's what's necessary to do. Then tzachlever from a guy. The shama afilu kabel schayr mimenu kedisif av gaken sham mipnei shu kematzil miyadam, because you never know. We'll just leave it like that. Okay. Next, Siv Gimel. Mocha lechaver pakmatya kodem hamoed. You sold him stuff before, and yesh mi she'oisel litvua dameh b'moed. So now when he owes you money, what is that called that he owes you? This, I would like to move to Shvius for a second. Shvius is not meshamet things which are not a chov. Question is, Dmei Mekach, is that a chov? I owe you money, but that's not a chov. It's a chov is what's called zokvin ala b'milva. Okay, in other words, it used to be that when I came to Israel, there was still this thing called a makolet, and he had index cards, and he wrote down, and when did you owe him money? At the end of the month. What do you mean? You didn't owe him money before? Until then, it was on credit. Afterwards, it's a chov, right? So I'm not sure that I'll be able to explain this to my children what I just said right now, right? No, it's a different venue. So when a person bought schayra and he wants to collect, is he collecting a chov or is he doing business? You understand the question?
You paid for it?
That's what collecting. The guy took the schayra. What? No, he didn't pay before. Okay. I gave you the money. I gave you the schayra on credit. And now I'm going to collect. Yeah, but what is that money? That's the Dmei Mekach, or it's money you owe me? And what about if I sent it to a collection agency? It's also Dmei Mekach? No, we understand where the origin of the money, but at what point does it become owed money, and at what point is it part of the business deal? You understand? It takes on a different reality.
It becomes the normal time of people paying for what they purchase.
Your terms.
You pass that.
Not 30. You have to pay within 30 days.
Well, I like this. There's this thing in America called a credit card that doesn't exist here in Israel. Right? In America, you have a credit card, you buy on credit, and then a month later you get a bill, and then you have 20 days. I don't know, how long do you have to pay to get? Well, whatever you have about the time to pay your bill. In Israel,
They did that here too.
they do that here too?
They did it.
They did it?
I don't think that's right. I had it for a while. I'm not sure.
Okay. But in Israel, there's no such thing. A credit card is basically direct debt to your account.
Debit card.
What? That's what it is. But
At the end of the month.
yeah, but there's no such thing as credit unless you do what's called credit, which is a different thing. But in America, credit is based on what you're doing, right? So what's the concept? That until the end of the month, it's Dmei Mekach, and afterwards, it turns into halva. In America, you have another 20 days to pay it. That's called a free halva. And then afterwards, you have to pay the ribbis. No, it's not. These are here. You're just paying the Dmei Mekach on the first 10th or 20th, or whatever day you decide to
Unless
pay.
you don't have money in the bank.
Well, then you never pay. then that's all Paul gets to you. Yeah. All right. Anyways, but that's what we're talking about. Mochel chaver pragmati kadem hoy v'yesh shoyso litzvad ma b'moed elam ken yalokech adam she'enu motzi lim enu motzi lemokom hamoichev and izdam lebchol hamoed davik davar ovid v'li nira says the Beis Yosef shakivon shezaka v'lav hamoed b'choy v'kodem hamoed we translated it into debt. So even though the tchilas din, the origin of the debt incurred was business, but once it turned into just a regular financial liability, so then we see it as alva, and therefore you're allowed to collect it b'moed. Okay. You're allowed to go into litigation. You're allowed to consolidate your monies and put them into securities. All these things. All these things are done when a person is insecure about his finances that are out there loosely, and he wants to make sure that he can have control. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah. Yesh v'shoyse v'tayme d'chol masa matan shel schara bein basoif kahidis if ala bein b'tchila kahidis if seh. Also, what's the difference? The mice of this chol was incurred by money, by business. V'li nira hine av shabaskes k'medina l'svar rishoyno mikomokom kayom she'anu roim she'achoyvos miskalkalin, that people who owe money don't pay. Noyagin l'tzvaya badin af ba'ad pragmati b'chol hamoed d'chashvinu le'ledovra ovid. Okay, people live today in a bad credit rating. Likbo b'mishvat b'shil chavayis ha'mutarim v'tzoyin eloi v'd'chavayis ha'mutarim l'tvoa b'chol hamoed, the ones that you're allowed to. Tavul yisol b'din yisol kodem hamoed v'lo yanuhu, you asked him and he didn't pay. Mutter likbo b'chol hamoed af b'fnei hakoyes hagoyim. You're allowed to do that. Mikol mokom nir dahanu davka likbo b'al peh. Aval ichtay mishum zeh, when you get into writing, which is already a malacha, then it's aser im lo hu davra ovid bemet. Okay. V'im tzorach hamoyes lo hitziyos al hayontov asher demuter lichtov v'ayidei akum. Okay. Now I just want to see this Shaitzi and Yudalit. Hainu im yanech hadavar achamo yochol they have said v'yochol lichtov afadei atzmo. If you're not going to write it down, you may not get your money back, or you're going to lose some of the money. You're allowed to do it. V'avda taz masha kayoim stam choyves hadavar ovid lo kosov lismach al zeh rak l'inyan tvia bedin she'enenu malacha. But once you're going to be talking about writing, which is a malacha, then we already are more particular about this nakuda. Okay. I lost my place.
Well, speaking about writing, physical writing, the old way people used to write.
That's the way I write still today.
No, but for example, I had to sign a certain insurance agreement a short while ago, and the agent sent me the agreement at the computer, and my signature was made by moving the mouse across the computer. You know, I made a squiggle with the mouse. That was my signature form.
That's I don't know what to tell you. That's probably ksiva derabanan. That's not ksiva, right?
Nothing was written.
Nothing. I mean, it was like on the phone was on the computer. It was like how can I put it? It didn't have any substance. If you printed it out, well, you couldn't like put your hand into the computer
Maybe
and
it's still
take it
deep
out.
on action and wrote.
It was all virtual, like a combination of little dots.
Okay, listen. This is more or less your question is not really so directly related. What about just pressing a key on a computer? Is that writing? If that's writing, this is writing. There's no difference.
So in this case, it would not.
What?
Is that writing?
It depends for what. It depends for what. That for Hilchos Yom Tov, you know, there are many places which even say you're not allowed to go to an ATM and take out, no, not the cash, the of your cheshbon. It gives you a printout. You know, whatever, because you're having it right for you. Now, who's writing?
Same as the guy.
Yeah, well, okay, all right. We'll discuss that a little bit more. We'll discuss the stamp. We'll discuss all those things when we get to Hilchos Kaisev. Got a lot of work to do till we get there. Okay. All right. If you're going to not sell your schara, you're going to lose from the keren. Why? Because lo yafsid me'akeren, so then it's not called that you lost money. Okay. Because I want to just tell you something. I think that this halacha is a chiddush because I have a store and I bought schara for $10 and I usually sell it for $15, and now if I'm not going to sell it, I'm going to have to sell for $9.90. Not only did I not make any money on that, I have a running cost of my store. In other words, when I sell for 15 instead of 10, that's not 15 is not profit.
Includes all the expenses.
There's a lot of expenses. There's running expenses, right? Every business has just to be open costs money, right? It's right. So when you say that we're just discussing the keren itself, that's because the hefset over here that we're talking about is the schar that's being nifsan. That's why I understand this. I'm saying well, there's a chiddush because you are really losing money even if you sell it. If you bought it for 10 and you sold it for 11, you're still losing money. That's the way business runs or doesn't run, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Like a yafsim me'akeren muter lemochor, avol lo yafsim me'akeren lo. Mikol makom hu imyan she'im yimkerena ata yeyu lo moiz berevach. So now it comes the other way around. Now this becomes an opportunity. Before we're talking about a loss, now we're talking about a sudden gain, right? Then you're allowed to do it. V'yetzi yisel l'simchas Yom Tov. Then muter limchor. V'nira li shaloi nemar advar malolo ala mi sheyesh le'mois mu'atim v'chos aleim yotziim kol kach l'simchas Yom Tov. V'ilo hayoloi mois berevach hayomoitzi yiser. Al mi sheyesh le'mois berevach v'yetzi l'simchas Yom Tov kechol asher yisaveh. So this is again, we're back to the subject originally, which is discussing. We're discussing what is the nature, the real nature of this. Okay, well, do the Mishnah Berurah next week. It's a show.
No.